So today we're going to talk about cookware. We got to get into the nitty-gritty of your kitchen because so many of you are doing a phenomenal job with your fasting lifestyle. And one of the reasons the fasting lifestyle is working so well for you is because when you've been over here in this sugar burner metabolism, there's been so many toxins. And so when we come over into the fasting lifestyle, now we're getting a break from the barrage of those toxins. And what's interesting about toxins is they're just everywhere. And one of the places that we don't think enough about where these toxins exist is actually in your cookware. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the absolute worst form of cookware that you absolutely have, like after this video, like I want you to get up and I want you to go throw it out. It's like that bad. And I'm going to help you understand why. And then I'm going to talk about what you can do and to add in some really inexpensive and less toxic, I should say, cookwares that will be great to cook your food in. So I want to give you some positives, but first we got to go after the negative. You ready for this? The absolute worst cookware you can have in your kitchen are aluminum pans. So here's the problem with aluminum. They have multiple types of heavy metals in them. So aluminum pans don't just have aluminum in them. They have lead, they have arsenic, and they have cadmium. Now, I can tell you because we've done a tremendous amount of heavy metal detoxing in my clinic over years, and I can tell you that the accumulation of a heavy metal as just one heavy metal like lead can lead to a whole host of brain challenges, everything from memory problems to dementia, to depression. Like lead is nasty. And when we have got ourselves an aluminum pan and we put it on a stove and we're heating it up, that lead is coming out of the pan and it's into your food every time you heat it up. Now, it comes out even more when you add an acid into your dish. So when you add in lemon or you add in vinegar, you're literally removing these neurotoxic heavy metals from the pan, you're heating them up, and you're accelerating how many of them are going into your food. We live in a time right now where we are seeing 1 out of 3 seniors get Alzheimer's. This is a massive problem. This is not a genetic problem. So if that's new to you, I want to point out, I had a great interview with Dr. Dale Bredesen on the 7 different things you can do to prevent Alzheimer's. And he is an Alzheimer's expert, and he absolutely says that Alzheimer's is preventable. So you can go listen to that podcast interview on the Resetter podcast. But why I'm telling you this is one of his 7 things is toxins, specifically heavy metals. So you might be thinking you're eating great food and you're attaching that to this beautiful fasting lifestyle, but every time you're cooking with these aluminum pans, what you're doing is you're pulling these heavy metals out of the pan, you're putting them in the food, and then you're eating them. Now, if you're not convinced yet, there's some interesting studies that I want to tell you about. Probably the one that is the most frightening to me was a 2016 meta-analysis. Now, a meta-analysis means that they looked at a lot of different studies and they came up with a conclusion. And what they came up with about Alzheimer's and aluminum, and this was after looking at 10,000 participants, was that even a low level of aluminum in your system increased your Alzheimer's chances by 71%. So this is why if you have any concern over brain health or memory and you have an aluminum pan, I cannot recommend enough that after this video, in fact, I even want you to just pause the video. Like after this video, I want you to go and just throw it away. Like I'm going to give you some other cost-effective pans that you can add in, but aluminum is the absolute worst. I probably have to say this too, because I just, once I get going about aluminum, it doesn't have to do with pans, but for those of you that are still using toxic deodorant with aluminum, you're still increasing the neurotoxic levels in your body. So I just have to do a little side note that please use natural deodorant, get rid of the toxic deodorants with aluminum. Okay, so with pans, what do you use? Well, I can tell you these are literally from my drawers, and I will tell you in my family that our favorite is cast iron. And I like cast iron for many different reasons. One is they're inexpensive. So, I mean, you can get a set online pretty cheaply. So of all the pans, they are the most cost effective. Two, just like I was telling you with an aluminum pan, you're heating up the aluminum and the heavy metals, and it's getting in your food. The same thing is happening with cast iron. You're getting iron into your food. This is really, really helpful, especially for women that are menstruating, because every month you're losing a good load of iron. But especially for my perimenopausal friends, where you might be like hemorrhaging or clotting or having really heavy periods, you may be losing a lot of iron, which is making you feel more fatigued, making you anemic, giving you a whole host of problems. So we always cook with cast iron because of the added iron benefit to it. Now, the thing I want to say about cast iron where you could go wrong and something to really look out for are the pre-seasoned cast iron pans. That is basically code for we have put a chemical surface on the top that acts a little bit like Teflon. So Teflon and these pre-seasoned pans, these are your non-stick pans. So if you also have some non-stick pans, that top layer surface, so that surface that's right here, right in touch with your food, is full of many different toxins. So in a Teflon pan, we see a lot of formaldehyde. We also see some plastics and we see some different heavy metals. Each pan's a little different. So when you buy a pre-seasoned cast iron, even though you're like, oh, I heard Dr. Mindy on a YouTube video, and so therefore I should go buy a bunch of cast iron, and you buy them all pre-seasoned, unfortunately, you still have this layer of toxins that are on there that are leaching into your food. So let's make sure they're not pre-seasoned. Second pan that I love is stainless steel. That's what this guy is. So where I think cast iron is really cost effective, this might be your next most cost effective. I like this because it's really low maintenance and you can clean it very, very, very easily. If you go and listen to the cooking show that I did with Leanne, we talked about how you can clean how we both went about cleaning cast iron pans. And there's a whole art to it. So that in my first ever Eat Like a Girl cooking show with Leanne Rhymes, we talk about cast iron. And for some of us, it's a little bit harder to clean cast iron because you want to let the seasoning of your food sit in there so these cast irons over time start to give more flavor to your food. Whereas if you're like me and you're cooking and you just want to clean it really fast, and you want something very simple and you want something very light, I mean, this is practically like lifting weights, stainless steel is phenomenal. So and it's also well priced and it's a low maintenance pan and it won't toxify you.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy.
The other one I don't have a picture of here, it's called carbon steel. So put in the comments. This is actually a new one that I didn't know about. Carbon steel has the same kind of heat retention as cast iron, which is great. But it also has the lightweightness of a stainless steel. So those of you who are like, oh, cast iron's too heavy, you might look at, again, stainless steel, or you might look at carbon steel, because both of those can be good. And then the last one, and one that we love as well, is ceramic. So ceramic is a good non-stick option. So for those of you that are like, my Teflon pan, wait, did you just say take my Teflon pan away? I did say that. So you might add in a ceramic pan. It has the same kind of non-stick capabilities that Teflon has, but it does not have the toxins in it. So, each one of these has an upside and a downside. This is going to be a little more expensive, but it does have that non-stick feel. The cast iron, I think, is the most cost approachable one, but you got to make sure it's non-stick and you got to take good care of it. And the stainless steel is just easy to lift and move around, a little bit more expensive than the cast iron, but not as bad as the ceramic. So you have options. The most important thing is that you get rid of that darn aluminum pan and that you are getting rid of your nonstick pans, because you guys go to so much hard work to build these amazing fasting lifestyles, and that you're like really doing well with your food and you're attaching them to good length fasting windows. And yet when you cook your food, you're cooking it on something that's leaching chemicals in there. I mean, if you stop and you think about like the cost of organic food or non-GMO food, or here in America, it costs so much to eat healthy, and then you throw it on a aluminum pan, and now everything you're trying to do with that added money is now those toxins are going into your food. So that's how important these pans are. So I hope that helps. What I'd love, because we're a beautiful community here, I'd love for you to put in the comments, I want you to put what your favorite pan is so that people can go find it, because we learn from each other. And one thing that we need to start to lean into each other on are something as simple as, what kind of pan do you use? And how can I use that in my kitchen, especially if it's non-toxic? So there you go. That's the skinny on pans. I hope I didn't destroy anybody and break your heart in revealing the dark side of aluminum pans. But what I really do want to do is keep you safe in the most toxic time in human history. And so many of you are doing so well with your fasting lifestyles, and it's working. Fasting is working because we're taking a break from this barrage of toxins. So, we can start to learn this metabolic switch where we are really good at the quality of our food, and we lean into the fasting windows to heal our body. But we can make both sugar burner, fat burner, metabolic states. We can make both of those a healing state if we pay close attention to the details of food, like I'm teaching you now. And if we can pay close attention to what our food is cooked in.
Okay, you trying to maximize your weight loss? Apple cider vinegar may be the key. Go check out this video where I show you exactly when, how, and why you want to use it for weight loss.
Apple cider vinegar changes your microbiome of your gut. This good bacteria is going to help to bring your blood sugar down and make it so that you can switch over into the fat burning state.